This was one of our most ambitious collaborations with a client. The client actually lives in Saudi and he always wanted to build a house where his ancestral roots were, which is Mangalore, a small coastal town in Karnataka. He always wanted to look at a project which he could come back to, a home which would evoke a lot of memories for him. Hi, I'm Akshay Heranjal from the Purpling Studio. Today I'm going to talk about the brick house in Mangalore. So when you look at the positioning of the site and you realize there are a lot of things that are around, you have a huge apartment, a lot of homes, a smaller apartment here, a villa on the side, etc. And then you come into a site which has a road onto the front. And then there's a smaller road that's actually going down this way. You have the site which is on this way, and this is where the north is. You got roads on two sides and a lot of densely built areas onto the other side, including this position, which essentially meant that when you look at the build form, we were expected to look at a building after, of course, leaving whatever setbacks that were required. This becomes the lower level, and when you sort of lift it up, you get a scenario like this where you have a lower ground and the rest of the units actually start getting staggering up. Just to quickly run you all through the plan, the whole building is done onto 4 levels. So this is the ground floor plan. There's an access from here and from here. So when you reach this point, you have two possibilities. One is to walk like this onto the main axis, or walk down into the Majlis area from here. This is where a lot of play of the concrete fins happen. This becomes the first entry point. The whole house is built around this idea of one central stairway, which starts getting extremely sculptural when you start walking in. The living that actually looks into this space, which is again a wide, the dining opening onto this side, a single court which opens all the way to the top, one bedroom here, again opening outside, a dresser and a bathroom, and the two kitchens that are connected to each other, taking you outside onto the utility. So essentially, if this is the lower ground where you have the majlis, etc., and the upper level starts coming in, we created a series of voids. These voids would allow you to start connecting internally, so the house almost starts becoming more sectional. Rather than looking outwards, it starts looking inwards, where you can start opening to the sky into multiple areas, and then there are places which open up to a double height. When you look at the lower ground plan, this becomes a car park. There's a lift on this side, which is one part that is consistent. Then you have a small staircase area that goes all the way to the top. Then you have this portion which opens up into the living space on the upper level. And then there are units like these, which are actually tucking itself in, which we call a majlis, which is essentially a lounge or a place which is accessed from the outside. So this allows you to have complete privacy in case you have a couple of guests coming in, or when you have a lot of friends coming over. Now what happens is the rest of the spaces are divided into two zones. One is this zone, which is basically the private spaces where the two bedrooms are in this way, and the rest of the space, which is almost like a common area, which is where you have two very important spaces. One is this area, which is the family living or the family room, where the two users from these two bedrooms can use this as a common space.